Hey, everybody, I got to cover Meet the Mess today and a little bit with George Stephanopoulos. If you want to see the press at their absolute worst, you got to watch Sunday morning. My theory is that Sunday morning news is where a lot of people get their news, especially older people. They ignore what goes on all week and they watch the Sunday news and see what's going on. So if you want to see how they roll out propaganda, watch Chuck Todd and watch George Stephanopoulos. Now, I was watching this morning, and Senator Ron Johnson, a Republican, came on to talk about why he's sympathetic toward Trump, and Chuck Todd loses it. Absolutely loses it. Now, keep in mind that what they're accusing him of doing is coordinating with the Ukraine to put pressure on the Bidens, to investigate the Bidens. Okay, big deal. We actually have our president has a obligation to investigate corruption no matter where it happens. But they'll overlook all the past just to focus in on Trump. They don't care what Hillary Clinton did. They don't care about Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, McCabe, Colby. They don't care what all of those guys did. Brennan. These guys are all just horrible, awful people. They don't care about what they do. But, oh my God, Trump. Now, there's something in law called a pattern of practice, right? So, let's say, you want to sue somebody for something. Well, maybe they just did it once, okay? Maybe it's a housing issue. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. If you can establish a pattern of practice, then your lawsuit is going to be a lot stronger. So in this case, the pattern of practice in politics is you get in office, you use that office for everything you can possibly get out of it. Finances, power, finances for your family, hook everybody up, get everybody all sweet deals. And this is what Biden did. This is what everybody does, okay? All these politicians do it. But so Ron Johnson comes on Meet the Press just to say he feels a little sympathetic because he feels that Trump is being treated unfairly. And just watch this mess.
First, before I start answering all the detailed questions, let me just talk about why I'm pretty sympathetic with what President Trump has gone through. I'm 64 years old. I have never in my lifetime seen a president, after being elected, not having some measure of well wishes from his opponents. I've never seen a president's administration be sabotaged from the day after election.
Sabotage from the day after his election. It's unbelievable.
I've never seen no measure of honeymoon whatsoever. And so what President Trump's had to endure, a false accusation. By the way, you've got John Brennan on. You ought to ask Director Brennan, what did Peter Strzok mean when he texted Lisa Page on December 15, 2016?
Senator,
quote,
Senator.
No.
So here, all he's doing is saying, hey, you know what? You're going to try to hold Trump accountable, but you're overlooking everything else that's gone on to this point. Obviously, Hillary Clinton and the DNC worked with Christopher Steele to put out this fake dossier. Now, Christopher Steele is a not an American, okay? So he's a foreign agent. But he gathered information from another foreign agency to dig up dirt on Trump. Well, guess what? They couldn't find any. So they had to make it all up. So they have this dossier that, goes on for 2 years. And it's all based on lies. And it's foreign created, paid for by the Democrats. All right? It's just unbelievable.
Let me finish. Think our sisters have begun leaking like
Ukraine?
mad, scorned and
what
worried.
What does this have to do with Ukraine?
It has everything to do with Ukraine. Now listen, think our sisters have begun linking like
what it has to do with Ukraine is they've set up a model, okay, so they use the same model all the time.
Like mad, scorned and worried and political, they're kicking into overdrive. Now that was December 15th. 6 days before that is when we first started hearing the CIA leaking about Russia supporting the Trump campaign. That is why Trump is so upset. He had this false narrative that resulted in him being set up by James Comey on January 16th. Then he has a special counsel appointed that has hampered his entire investigation, his entire administration, And now, once that was proven false, he would like to know, and I would like to know, and I know his supporters would like to know, where did this all come from? Who planted that false story?
Senator,
who leaked? You know, I
listen
have
to Chuck Todd. He's like, can you hear him? Can you hear him? Just, you know, the guy's he's just a dirtbag.
I have my third letter into the Inspector General of the Intelligence Committee asking to just confirm, are you investigating those leaks that Peter Strzok talked about in that text?
Senator, I have no idea
so again,
why.
No, that's a setup. It is entirely irrelevant to this point.
Why a Fox News conspiracy propaganda stuff is
Fox
popping up.
Fox News conspiracy theory propaganda stuff. This guy's disgusting, okay? When something is true or doesn't fit their narrative, they will call it a conspiracy theory or propaganda. And I'm seeing this almost every day now. So when you report on the facts or when you report on something that's true, it's a conspiracy theory.
On here, I have no idea.
It is not.
I have no idea why we're going here.
That is
Senator,
because
I'm
this
asking
is underlying exactly why President Trump is upset and why his supporters are upset at the news media.
Okay,
Chuck,
this is not about the media. Senator Johnson, Senator Johnson, please. Can we please answer the question that I asked you instead of trying to make Donald Trump feel better here that you're not criticizing him?
He is not trying to make Donald Trump feel better. This guy is just chocked full of lies. Just one lie after another.
Not to believe the investigations that have taken place.
No, I'm trying to get to the truth. I want to look at the entire truth, Chuck. The media doesn't.
And the truth is only when it benefits, when you believe it's politically
totally
comfortable with you? I don't understand what truth are you looking for.
I don't understand what truth you're looking for. Now, when I heard this, it made me think of Pontius Pilate and Jesus Christ. So that was what Pilate said. Oh, what truth are you looking for? My truth or your truth? What is truth? It's this age-old thing. I'll tell you, Nancy Missler, Chuck Missler's wife, defined truth as the deed and the word coming together. When the word and the deed come together, you have truth. And he's pulling that Pontius Pilate line.
Truth.
So,
I want
so are we.
truth.
I'm sorry that you chose to come on this way, Senator.
I'm sorry that you chose to come on this way, Senator. I'm sorry that you chose to come on and point out the hypocrisy of this whole process. I'm so sorry you chose to come on like that.
Thanks very much. Joining me now.
I'm sorry you started the piece that way.
Joining me now is Democratic Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut.
Okay, now this guy is all about Peter Schiff, and he's all on that side. You know, it's okay. Peter Schiff can lie. He can make up stuff. Remember, Peter Schiff came on for 2 years and said, I have evidence. We have evidence of collusion. And it's plain blah, blah, blah. Nothing. Absolute total liar. And then Peter Schiff comes out and he says he never met with this whistleblower. Well, come to find out, he did meet with the whistleblower. He is a liar. He needs to be removed.
Thanks for coming on. A question I was going to try to get to Senator Johnson had to do with the fact if he shared his concerns about the linkage of military aid and the president's decision to want an investigation.
I have not seen any evidence that President Trump withheld military aid in his conversation. As far as I know, it's not there, so that's a lie. And even the president of Ukraine said he never felt pressured. There was no pressure. But they keep telling you there was. They're lying.
Did you ever hear Senator Johnson wince? Did he talk about it with you? You guys were traveling a lot together. I'm just curious.
Well, I mean, first of all, Ron's a good friend, but I'm deeply scared by the positioning that Republicans have chosen to take. That interview.
I'm deeply scared of the position the Republicans have taken. I'm deeply scared. I'm so scared that they actually want the whole truth. Oh my God, I'm so deeply scared.
Just a giant green light to the President of the United States to continue to solicit foreign interference in U.S. elections. He telegraphed that he's going to ask China to do the same thing that he asked the Ukrainians to do.
Oh, so yeah, he's just saying, hey, you know, China, why don't you investigate this guy? He only, you know, came out of there with the $1.5 billion. Yeah, I think maybe you should investigate that. See, these things, historically speaking, have never been investigated. None of it. All of them, Republicans, Democrats, all of them use their office to load their coffers and the coffers of their families. They all do it. Trump saying, hey, I think you should investigate this. And the you-know-what hits the fan. You know what hits the fan, huh, Malie? She knows. Malie knows. All she's thinking is, when's my next food? When do I get more food?
This week, because Republicans are allowing him to do it. And this entire country should be scared that at a moment when we need patriots, what we are getting is blind partisan loyalty.
This guy, I think I mean, Chuck Todd's one thing, but then he brings on these guests that almost make Chuck Todd look like Renfield. And, you know, they're the real Dracula.
Listen, the texts make it clear that there was a quid pro quo on the table, that the State Department, the White House...
Now they're saying, oh, the texts make it clear. See, at first it was the phone call. Well, the phone call was a dud. Now it's the texts. They got some texts. But we want to look at Peter Strzok and Lisa Page's texts? Oh, no, we don't got to look at those. How dare you?
President's personal lawyers were all working to try to get the Ukrainians to interfere in the 2020 election in exchange for access to the White House and likely the resumption of aid. Now, I didn't hear Senator Johnson make that connection in Ukraine, and as I've said previously, neither did I hear President Zelensky make that connection in Ukraine.
So Senator Johnson seemed, he implied, and he talked about, he had heard about this. So again, you are working pretty closely on this.
It just goes on and on and on. Chuck Todd is an anti-Trumper. This guy hates Trump. Stephanopoulos, same thing. So I was watching this, and you know, the only reason I watch these two shows, I watch them every Sunday, is to just see the lies, because it's astonishing. I mean, I get my news from a variety of sources, okay, and then I watch this on the weekend. And I see that they are just lying. It's just obvious. So here's this.
The president betrayed his oath of office. He's engaged in serious wrongdoing. The administration, without justification, withheld $391 million in military aid from a vulnerable Ukraine.
He's lying. He is lying. And they come on here and they lie.
The president then pressured a foreign leader to interfere in the 2020 election.
But if you ask that foreign leader if he was pressured, he says, no, I wasn't pressured. So we're supposed to believe him and not believe the man directly involved, right?
And target an American citizen for political gain. That is textbook abuse of power. It undermines our national security. That's the issue that we should be dealing with moving
forward. If it is, then why not have the vote?
Well, as I indicated, the Speaker has said that might be possible.
See, they're talking about impeachment. Anyway, I just had to vent because I'm just a normal guy. You know, I'm just a normal guy like most of you. You know, something funny happened last night at the bar. There's a guy who, and, you know, he's an anti-Trumper, discussions on Facebook about Trump. And, you know, I saw him last night. Super nice guy. Had a great time. We didn't talk about any of that. And that's the thing, you guys. I mean, when we sit here face to face, we get along, okay? When we look at each other through their eyes, what the media is trying to do is divide us. And I really don't think we're as divided as they say we are. Matter of fact, I know we're not. I can think of countless times when I come face to face with people who have different politics. We get along just fine. We respect each other. There's something about Facebook and Twitter when you can sit behind a keyboard or talk into your phone and just put your thoughts out kind of unfiltered without a whole lot of maybe forethought into what you want to say. You know, just, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, this is this and this is that, and blah, 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 blah. You know, you sit down face to face with people and we all get along. So let's leave it on a positive note. And that's it. We're getting along. They're lying to us. They are trying to divide us. And if they say it's a conspiracy theory, it probably happened. Have a great day.